Whew. Hello again, and welcome to Faith Night Friday. I know. You're like, but it's not even nighttime. You're right. It's not nighttime. But the only reason I do it during the day is because this is the only quiet time I have. And, give me 1 second. And the kids are all in school right now, so yeah, this is the only quiet time I have. And then when I upload it, I probably won't upload it until almost like maybe 3 o'clock or when I'm about to pick up the kids, because then later on you'll be able to see it at nighttime. If I try to do it, at around 6 or 7, you won't see this until maybe almost like midnight. And I don't want you to see it that late. So we're just going to jump into it. I hope everybody is having a good day. Let's just thank the Lord that we are here today, and every day, a new day is a gift from God. And I appreciate every time I get up in the morning and I see daylight. So let's just be grateful for that. If for anything that we get to wake up to a new morning. So praise God for that. Okay, so we're just going to jump right in. We are in Samuel, 1 Samuel, and we are in Samuel 27. So, homemade clay dough. I have homemade Play-Doh. God, I hate Play-Doh. I really do. Especially if you had a carpet when you were a kid, or when your kids were, little and you had a carpet. Jesus, trying to get that stuff off the carpet was a nightmare. But anyway, we are on 1 Samuel chapter 27. So we're just going to jump right into it. All right. Okay, so we're still reading about David and how David became king. So he went through all the things, that he went through with Saul. And of course, by now, Samuel has already died. And you remember Samuel when he was little, God was calling him. He was like, he thought it was Eli who was calling him, but it wasn't. It was God. So you just need to read 1 Samuel, how all that started off, okay? So we are on 27. It's David among the Philistines. Okay, so David said to himself, one of these days Saul will kill me. The best thing for me to do is to escape to Philistia. Then Saul will give up looking for me in Israel, and I will be safe. So David and his 600 men went over at once to Achish, son of Maoch, king of Gath. David and his men settled there in Gath with their families. David had 2 wives with him, Ahinoam from Jezreel, and Abigail, Nabal's widow, from Carmel. When Saul heard that David had fled to Gath, he gave up trying to find him. So he was done. David said to Achish, if you are my friend, let me have a small town to live in. There is no need, sir, for me to live with you in this capital city. So Achish gave him the town of Ziklag, and for this reason Ziklag has belonged to the kings of Judah ever since. David lived in the Philistia for 16 months. During that time, and his men would attack the people of Jezreel, Girzi, and Amalek, who had been living in the region a very long time. He would raid the land as far as Shur, all the way down to Egypt, killing all the men and women and taking their sheep, cattle, donkeys, camels, and even the clothes. Then he would come back to Achish, who would ask him, where did you go on a raid this time? I don't know, this kind of seems weird. It just seems like, where'd you go this time? I went downtown. Oh, where'd you go next time? Oh, I went to the lake. Oh, where'd you go this time? This part really baffled me. Okay, I was like really. Okay, so he would ask him, "Where did you go on a raid this time?" And David would tell him that he had gone to the southern part of Judah, or to the territory of the tribe of Jeremiah, or to the territory where the Canaanites lived. David would kill everyone, men and women, so that no one could go back to Gath and report that he and his men had did the whole time had Gath report that he and his men had really done. He and his men had really done. This is what David did the whole time he lived in Philistia. But Achish trusted David and said to himself, he is hated so much by his own people, the Israelites, that he will have to serve me all of his life. That's what Achish said. Achish trusted David and said to himself, he is hated so much by his own people, the Israelites, that he will have to serve me all of his life. Now remember, David had lived in Philistia for a long time. So I really don't know what's going on there. Let's find out. Okay, so we are going to come here. I think I had this in here. I'm always sticking papers in everything. When it came to this one, because I was trying to see what this had to say about David Spears a second time of what's going on in those days. So let's see what this one has to say. It's for the 27 royal cities of the Philistine lords. The activity of the Philistines as they settled in Canaan by the middle of the 12th century BC were centered on 5 cities: Ashdod, Ashkelon, Ekron, Gath, and Gaza. These cities are all located in the southern coastal plain. It is natural that this region was selected by the Philistines, since they were part of the larger group of people called the Sea Peoples, all who came from the coastal area. The fighting between the Philistines and the Israelites was in many ways a geographical struggle. Oh, so they were, it was a land thing. The Philistines resided in the coastal plain, while the Israelites were the people of the central hill country. The Philistines' encroachment into the hill country was too forceful that Israel was provoked into a change of leadership from the religious leader Samuel to the political and military leader Saul. While only 5 cities were specifically designated as Philistine, each of these royal cities oversaw the activities of nearby smaller towns or villages. Ziklag was given to David by the Philistines' king Achish. Was probably a vassal town to the Philistines' royal city of Gath. In this way, the sphere of the Philistine city was much wider than might be supposed. 5 Philistine lords ruled over the many country villages affiliated with the 5 royal cities. The Philistine pottery appears in Canaan about the middle of the 12th century BC, while centered in the coastal area. Some pottery has also been found in Sephilia, the foothills of the hill country, and even in the hill country. I don't get it. The foothold. Okay. This should be surprising, since Philistines' military outposts spread to the very hometowns of both Saul and David. The 5 Philistine cities sought to add subservient cities to their realm. But Saul, David, and their kingship, ardent opponents, stood in the way. So again, it was a struggle of gaining property. I mean, that's basically what they did back then, right? It's like, it's almost like what we tried to do in the last, after Christ, when it was Queen Elizabeth and all those UK countries, and they were all sought out regions and take over, whether you liked it or not. The strong will get the whatever they wanted, and the weak will suffer, and that's basically how it ended up. And whoever survived belonged to the one who sought or gained reign over that land. So, and what was said to me was that whoever survived belonged to them, and whoever didn't was like gone. Like everybody was wiped out, and it was really, really crazy back then. Like really scary and crazy. Like, thank God we don't live in those that anymore. Well, no, coming into the 20th century, believe it or not, like all these other countries that we have around us are still fighting for property, still fighting for land. Why? Like, what are you going to get out of it? All you're doing is hurting people. All you're doing is killing people. There's no gain whatsoever. Okay, so you gained the whole world, and then the Lord goes, yeah, but you've been so bad and so like you haven't been following me. You haven't been following the rules of how, and abiding of what I have said. So I'll tell you what. Now you're gone. Like that. So what was all that fighting and leadership all worth it? No. Because God said, you're gone. Whole world blown to smithereens. Now you got nothing. Oh, you got something. Your spirit, your soul living being, is going, you know where. And now you have to deal with that consequence. No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, so, yeah. Now this fighting that's going on, it's worthless. Worthless. Okay. But anyway, let's see what Samuel 26 has to say here for the commentaries. So we were 27, right? So David won a great victory over Saul, only to be overwhelmed by despair. Such feelings are not unusual. You cannot have mountaintops without valleys. However, you are feeling low, and it is a dangerous thing to talk to yourself and make important decisions. David should have talked to the Lord. He and Abiathar, who have sought the mind of David, should have talked to the Lord. He and Abiathar could have sought the mind of God together. So all those killings that took place back then shouldn't have happened. David did something that he shouldn't have done. He went by his own accord, and he did not ask the Lord, should I go after this city? Should I go raid that city? Should I go raid this city? He did this on his own accord. God had nothing to do with that. And it's things like that when you do things like out of God's will, I'll guarantee you're going to pay for it. Some way, somehow, you'll get yours. Okay, so I did. What did I do with them? I did take some notes because I wanted to talk to you people about some things. I put the wrong one here because everybody is talking about the, what is that called? The red heifer. And supposedly the red heifer is supposed to be this red cow. And Israel, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to make a big thing out of this. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to start anything. I'm just trying to, give you guys some knowledge of what's being spoken about, especially because of the end times. Okay, so the red heifer is supposed to be this cow that is supposed to be without blemish, without any cuts, bruises, or anything like that, because they're supposed to, during the Passover, which is coming up next week, they're supposed to sacrifice this cow to become like a sign of the second coming of Christ. So it's supposed to be a sign. Now, whether they're going to sacrifice this cow or not, I don't know. But if you read about it, if you Google it, and you see what they have to do in order to sacrifice this cow, it's like, really? You only got to do that? And it's almost like, to me personally, it's a ritual. It just sounds like a ritual, and for me, it just seems demonic to do something like that. Now, don't get, I know. It's something that they've been doing, like, trying to do for I don't know how many years before Christ. But this heifer is supposed to, it's supposed to be a sign of that. This is it. This is it. Like, remember Titanic? When, what do you call it? What was this? Jack was with, I forgot her name, with the girl, and he was like, okay, they're going down, they're going under, right? And they're on the last, thing of holding on to the ship. And he goes, okay, this is it. And he's like, trust me, this is it. And the ship is sinking down. Well, that's what that sign, the heifer, the red heifer is supposed to be a sign like that. Like, this is it. This is the start of everything that's going to happen. The rapture, the Antichrist, Armageddon, this is it. This is the start of it all. Now, it could be. I'm not saying it isn't. It could be. But, and they want to rebuild the temple. They want to rebuild a temple in Israel. Okay, go for it. But Jesus, when he was here, and the temple was going to be destroyed, and they didn't they tear the temple down twice? I think. Anyway, he said, I think it said, if you destroy this temple, I will raise it up in 3 days. And somebody said, how are you going to do that? How are you supposedly going to raise the temple in 3 days? And he said, I will raise the temple, and this temple will be raised in 3 days. I will raise it up in 3 days. In 3 days. 3. That meant him. He is the temple. So there's no reason to be going through this sacrificing of anything. He's it. Right? Yeah. So, given that, and like I said, if it is supposed to be a sign, then so be it. It's better for you guys to run after Christ now, like you would run after a brand name item. What is that called? Limited edition. Run after it, because if that's the case, then you need to, like everybody, run. Like literally run. The world is changing, and it already changed when COVID hit. We all know that. Things are not the same like they were. And Better for you to be on board than to be left behind. Technology is getting smarter, and if you're not up to speed, you're going to be lost. You're going to be lost. And that's scary because I was pondering on some things today, last night. And if you realize it, with technology and with AI coming around, and you're not going to know the difference, what's real, what's not real, and probably only the elite are going to know. And that's at the end times. Only the elite is going to know what's going on. I'm sorry, that's my coffee. And it's scary because technology, you know how you were younger, we always wanted to grow up and travel and go to Europe, go to England, go to Mexico, go to, to the Caribbean and everything like that. And, it costs money to travel and everything like that. And just, saying, oh, I went there and I was there and and take pictures and everything. People could take pictures of places behind them and they're not even there. It's just background. And they make it seem like they're there, but they're not. And then you have some that virtual reality. You can go to these places without even stepping a foot over there. You can go to the Caribbean, Israel, England, whatever, and not ever stepping a foot there because you have these glasses or lenses who will make you feel like you're there. That's crazy. That's what's going to happen. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars to go to somewhere. Just put on these glasses and you're there. And then, what was the other thing? There's nothing to do here. Like, seriously. There's nothing to do on this earth. You live, you eat, you go to work, 40 hours of misery every week. People are cruel. People are throwing everybody else under the bus. You'd be lucky if you have a job and you're happy at it. Good for you. But most of us, or most of them, can't stand their job. And there's nothing to do. What is there to do? Get money, spend money, get drunk, get high, get into a fight, get beat up, raise kids. They hate you. Some like you. Some don't even know who you are. And then what? You die. You live your old age, if you're lucky, with your kids. If not, in a home, alone. The caretaker's beating the crap out of you. There's nothing to do here. There's nothing to do down here. What? You'd spend money on lavish things that are going to end up being gone? Like that actor, he had everything. He had everything in Friends. A lavish pool. Dies in it. I don't know. All I know is there's nothing to do down here. I think I want to go visit a galaxy. I want to go see another universe. I want to see how, other planets and the beings over there, how they living. That's what I want to see. That's where I want to go. I want to go to a different Milky Way. Let's head that way. That's what I want. That's where I want to go. Okay, so spending our time so much doing other things instead of the Word, the Bible. Yeah, we spend a lot of time, guys, not doing nothing. Like, seriously. Yeah, I'm not saying that you don't do nothing. I mean, you clean, you cook, you raise your kids, you do this, you do that, you do that. You're doing everything you can, but how does that really help you? How does all that help you. You spend time crafting and doing this and watching videos and tutorials and all this stuff. But how does all that help you in the long run? It doesn't. It doesn't. Your best bet, like I said, if that red heifer is a sign that this is it. This is it. Make no mistakes where you are. This is it. The fight is over. This is it. Then run. Run to the cross. Because that's the only thing that's going to save you. It's the only thing that's going to save you and your family. Okay, I said enough, right? Okay, guys. So, I'm sorry. I just had to put it out there, just for your information. Okay, just for you. Like I said, I don't want to start nothing. This is just, maybe it was something that you should know. Maybe you should research. Maybe it's something that God put in my heart to tell you. I hate really saying that sometimes, because later on in the future, people are going to be killing each other and saying, oh, well, God told me to do this. And I hate saying that. I don't like saying God told me to say this to you. I really don't like saying that. But, yeah. Do research. Just like you do research for everything else. Do research on this and see what the Lord shares with you. And that's what I think that's what I'll say from now on. This is what was shared with me. So I just want to pass it on, okay? Okay, guys, so I have to get going. I got to run to the store, and I have my devotional I'm trying to finish. So please I don't want to say please, if you want to. If you want to like, comment, and subscribe, I'll always be here. I'll try to be here every Friday night and to talk about the Word of God. Try to inspire you, and hopefully if and when you start getting yourself into the Word, the Lord, and you open up your heart to Him, He will start sharing things with you as well, and then you can share whatever He shares with you with other people. And be safe, guys. Stay in the Word. It's the only thing that's really gonna help you move ahead. It's guaranteed. And yeah, we will see you next time on Faith Night Friday, even though it's daylight. Okay, guys, have a good day. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. Bye.